Okay, so let's get this shared real quick. We're going to be doing this correctly. It was pointed out, well, I have a really good friend, Brian Cook, who gave me a call and informed me on some of the tools I was using or wasn't using correctly, which is great. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Brian. And put me in contact with, or told me to contact or look up, rather, Lever Leather. And so I did. It's pretty cool. I have to dive more into that. But here's what we did on the last live show. This isn't going to work. There's not enough leather in between each hole to get a good, secure connection. So now I did find a bigger piece of leather down here in my stuff. It was all the way at the bottom of the box. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as a pattern. I'm going to use these pieces here as kind of a pattern. Still, we don't need a lot of stuff. Let me see. Did I get my? See if I have my glue. Oh, I need my glue stick. Let's see here. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go find my glue. Okay. Now, this isn't the correct stuff to use, but I use this stuff. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, so we're going to use this as a pattern. This right here. Now, I don't have, oh, there's my 2x4s. I don't want to drive into my bench. I don't want to drive into my pieces here. I'm going to drive my punches, the stitching punches, and they are for hand stitching, just smaller thread. So a wax synthetic nylon thread, so we did have that correct. They are, well, I knew they were for sewing. I've been using a rivet punch to do all my holes, and yes, you can get away with doing it that way, but it isn't the correct way, right? All right, so not gonna be good enough. All right, take our handy dandy scissors. I love these scissors. I really, really do. They're really nice. The scissors and the stamp punches, it's not really tooling, I guess, is they're just stamps. But I bought them because of the scissors and this whole set, because of the 20 stamps you get, and this comes with 2 pair of scissors. Now, I've made a set like this, but getting a pair that are actual built for this allows me to then turn around and build a working kit for leathersmiths. Now, I also got feedback on the rowels. This is for getting punch spacing. Can't really see that all that well. See if I can clean up. So really fine rowels on there. And here's another one. So these are for laying out your potential. Let's see if I can get this thing manually dialed in here to where we can see. Yeah, it's probably about as good as it's going to get. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. So there's that one. Boom. And this isn't going to be the best job of. I don't have any dye. I don't have any dye to dye these. So I'm making this right now to just, for one, play around with the new tools that I have. And for two, figure out the order of events I'm going to do for my demo that I'm putting on. For the Florida School Education Center. Making sure everything is right, all the terminology is good. So I'm not putting out bad information. But we are going to not use the punch, the hole punch. We're going to use the thread hole punch. So the hole punch I've been using is for like putting rivets in or buttons, stuff like that. We're still going to make this an ambidextrous. Still be an ambidextrous sheath. And we will do some stamps, all that good old stuff on it. But there's other tools in here I'd like to play around with and figure out just how to use them. So this is a circular tool. Now I'm wondering if this tool is only for edges or can it go on regular flat surfaces as well. I think it's only for edges. Yeah, so this is for chamfering your edges. This tool right here is for putting a soft corner on your piece. Cool tool. Not sure what it's called. Might be just a chamfering tool. Now, these little guys, not sure what that's for, but what I really wanted to get was, I don't think I did, is a tool for putting a thread valley in. I wonder if one of these punches down here, these stamps, is for doing that. Putting a valley. So I still need to get better at using this guy too. Still swivel cutter. see. We'll see. So let's see here. I thought I saw one the other day in here that was smooth that I could use as a thread punch. I may have to just use what I've been using and go with it that way. But let's see if I can find it. I need to get a block built so I can put all these in there in it. I'm not seeing it. Well, whatever. I mean, that looks like it's supposed to. I mean, these are sharp. They're not what I'm looking for. Okay, so I do have a tool down here that I've used in the past. It might be in the bottom drawer here. It's just a blunted screwdriver. That I've used to put a thread valley, and we'll do that again. We'll do that right now. And this just gets the stitch below the surface of the leather. Kind of protects it. Looks pretty good. So we're just basically punching down a little valley right there. Once again, I'll probably have some leather guys going, "What are you doing?" But until I get the tools put together to do it, this is what I've come up with. Because this kit didn't come with this tool. But this little screwdriver is kind of blunted on the top, on the nose. Works really well for this. I might be able to use the welt from the other piece on this one. We'll see here in a minute. Okay, so there's that one. Boom. Now let's see if this welt is going to work. It should. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this welt, and you know, a leather contact cement works a lot better. I've had good luck with just an Elmer's glue stick though. You need to set right where I want it to set. One thing I highly suggest you invest in, if this is what you're looking to get into, is some little clamps. Works rather nice. Okay, so now we're going to use 2x4 here, a little piece of 2x4. Use our hole punches out here. I'm going to punch some holes all the way down through this top piece and the welt. I have my 6, my 4, my 2, and my 1. Now, I really like the way the stitch looks on this. I really do. I mean, it's super uniform. It's really nice. It doesn't want to go all the way through, and maybe I'm doing too much. I don't know. Maybe that's not hard enough. See. Cut through a little bit. And defeats the purpose, though. I think going that deep is a little rough. And maybe we go. I mean, that gave a nice hole definition. We can come back through at least. There we go. All right. So we won't go that deep, but we'll go enough to make an impression on that back side so I can come back through. When I pull it off, I can go through it. I still think having a piece of wood right here is might be the easiest way. Get the look I want. It makes nice holes, it really does. I need to go back through and do my pull that valley back in. I might have put the valley into the. As long as I'm able to put a impression on the welt, I don't care, because I will be able to do exactly what I want to do, which is come back through and go over it again. So now I moved from the 6 to the 4 going around this curve. I mean, having the glue on that is really working nice. Holding it in place. It's not a permanent deal. Walk this right to that, the last little bit here. And like Brian was saying, it just makes a really pretty stitch. You guys can see that. I don't know if you can see that very well. Lights off. Right, let me turn that up. There we go. We come down right there. All right, so let's come off of this corner with still using the 4. Making sure everything's lined up. And we'll be able to cut down this welt a considerable amount before we do any more work on it, stitching or anything. That will be able to cut a little bit of it down. I have to go to the 2 around this little sharp bend here. And we go right back to the 6. After this, I believe. Oh, one more. Let's see if the 4 will make that bend. The good thing about running a channel in there, you have something 3-dimensional for your thread groove, or hole groove, whatever you want to call it. Something 3-dimensional for your this punch to sit in, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you're trying to set it. It really looks rather good. I mean, I got pretty good at getting stuff relatively straight, but this just allows you to look a little more professional. Now, overlapping the last hole most times. Making sure everything stays in alignment. So that all the holes are the same. Now I overlap 2 for the 4 one. Punched my finger a little bit there. Okay, that turned out pretty good. I got those holes pretty close to golden. Now we're just going to come through and clean up the welt holes, make them go all the way through. Once again, please, if there's a better way or if I'm doing it wrong, let me know. Because, I mean, this is not something I do all the time. I only do this because my business isn't strictly blacksmithing by itself. I do require some leather work. Okay. Come off of that last hole. Probably have to go back through the other side on these, but that's okay. Definitely not as quick, but sometimes to get a better look to your product, quick is not what you want. Not even sometimes, almost all the time. Get the skills ironed out, then you can get quick. You know what I'm saying? And I have just been kind of winging it without the proper tools. Well, I've had the proper tools. It's just not having using a bigger holes because of what I had available to me. Take my knee brace off. Get this done right here, guys. Now I got to take my knee brace off here. Okay, so there's holes through the welt. Let me take this brace off. So we got holes through the welt. We got holes through this piece right here. It's gonna be interesting when I go to sew this. And we'll do the sewing live as well. I figured, why not? Let's just get it out of the way. Let's do this whole thing this way and make it work. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take and put some Elmer's glue stick down, and we're just going to stick these together right underneath where the welt will be. Go through these, punch this out. Yeah, well, the thread channel, that stitch channel is still really prevalent right there. I should put a, I'll have to do the other one after the fact, I believe. Let's see. I have a feeling right now, until I get more comfortable with using this tool, that I'm going to have to just keep on going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So this is the last 6. Let's try this. We're not going all the way through on this one. Let's come back to our pad here. A little harder backing, a little bit stronger. We're back to our 4. Boom. 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 Okay. The 4 is definitely easier to take out than the 6. Let me tell you what. That 6 really likes to grab pretty hard. I can already tell this is going to be a lot cleaner than what I normally do stitch-wise, which is what I'm looking for. It's a pretty clean product. I mean, if I'm going to charge $50 for the sheath, I think I need to step up my game a little bit. There's the 2 around the hard corner. This 2 is pretty nice too. I mean, you know, it's quicker to do it with the 6 and the 4, you know, because you get more holes. But this 2 comes out real easy. Allows you to keep that same spacing that you've been making the whole time. You know, but you don't get as much done. It's not as quick. I'm able to mark 4 holes. You got 4 more holes. Okay. So we got the holes. Now let's go back through. For the most part, they're through to the other side, but we need to make sure We're going to go through with the two. It'll be quicker. I can get them out so get it out quicker. Yeah, pretty nice. Pretty nice. Let me tell you what. You don't have to worry if a hole is kind of covered. You don't have to worry about it because you got the same spacing all the time. That is the benefit to running one of these. Yes, it takes longer, but it's the same spacing across the board every time. And so you don't have to worry about missing. Let's try that 4 over here. Yeah, the 4 is really nice too. Okay, back to the 2. Corner on this hard corner. Back to the 4. Yeah. I'm going to have to come back through the other side, but that's okay. I'd rather take a little bit longer and know that it's good than vice versa. All right, so let's take our little makeshift tool here. We're going to go over top of these holes on the outside. Remember, this is ambidextrous, so having you got to have the same. Now it's a cross draw or a back draw, either one. Drawing from the back side, from the small to the back. I know guys that they don't do any of their own leather. Oh, that's cool. Thank you, Bert. Yeah, I've used drill press in the past. I might have to try that out, but the beeswax is a great suggestion. I have some floating around here too. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Like I say, guys, I am always willing to learn, even in blacksmithing and bladesmithing. I mean, I'll never be even if I become a master of either one, you know, there's always innovators out there doing better things, you know, or been practicing at it longer than myself. I mean, for crying out loud, I didn't even know what that little strip on the inside of the damn sheath was called until my buddy David Spurlock was like, "Oh, that's called the welt," and I'm like, "It's called the what?" It's called the welt. Oh, okay, whatever you say. You know, so it's just those little things that you're able to pick up, you know, and another thing I like about it's going to be a different sewing too, because I like having the bigger holes. You could just, it's easy to match up. This is going to force me to get super precise with everything I do. I'm going to put a lip on that shelf up there with all this paint. And so it's going to make me a better overall leather worker when it comes to putting together sheaths and scabbards and stuff like that. So I'm more than willing to put the extra time in because it's going to make me a better craftsman. And the people that you're wanting to sell to anyways, they're going to recognize that craftsmanship. And part of selling yourself is not doing things so strange. Hold on real quick, guys. Not doing stuff so strange that it actually puts people off, you know. A lot of times, yeah, I mean, it could be, doesn't matter how well it looks, but a lot of times if it's foreign to that person, that technique you're using or whatever you're doing, they're going to have a hard time buying into what you're selling. Okay, this will be a little bit interesting. I gotta, holes aren't as pronounced, but that's okay. So what we need to do now is we're gonna do some tooling here. I don't do any cutting or forming. It's not really tooling. In my opinion, it's not really tooling, but it is the closest thing that I have right now. Because in my opinion, tooling is really oh, that's a cool one. You know, sculpting of the leather and stuff like that. Using these little punches and stuff. Look, I mean, it looks cool. It really does. Let's do a test run on this other piece here from the other one, just to see what we are working with here. It's an interesting tool. Well, that looks pretty good. kind of like that. That's not bad. That little right there. Not sure what I'm going to do with that. Come off of that. Oh, that might be a good one to come in between each one of those. Oh, it's weird. I guess just experiment. I mean, figure out what looks good. Got this big thing right here. This is kind of a cool scallop. Reminds me of. I'm gonna bring my light down here just a little bit so I can get a little less shadow, a little more light. What I'm working on here. Hit and sharpen it to a point. Push it through instead of drilling. It doesn't tear. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I got a couple awls. Yes, definitely awl the hole before I put the needle through. Or I don't like a sewing awl, but I do have a couple different sized awls to use for sure. This is a cool little thing here. It's just a circle. That's pretty neat. Little decorative circle. That might be kind of cool to. Oh, it's almost like an eye punch. Interesting. Okay, so I need to go out and get my stamps as well, my big stamps I have here at some point. But let's kind of like this Spanish flower that's here. Kind of a cool design here. Yeah, the Spanish flower looks pretty cool. Pretty neat, guys. I just got to figure out how to use it all. That's pretty cool. I thought there was like a flat, no, it was just completely flat. Well, actually there is. Hold on. It's that big old round one. It doesn't have any texturing to it. And I believe it's for sculpting. If I can find it again. I need to get me a block put up for sure. So I can just grab the ones I want. They're just square. Oh, I like that. That's a nice look right there. Especially coming off the holes. If we come back off the holes and recess this down. Yeah, that's not bad. There's a new one. Let's use this new one today. Oh, I like that. That's cool. Not a complete weave, but still pretty cool looking. Wonder if going a little bit more water on it, we can get a better transfer. And that's not bad. Definitely has a different look to it, for sure. I'm not going deep enough, I don't believe. I like that one. Oh, this must be a textured one. Is that kind of a rock texture? That's interesting. Not sure what that's supposed to be. Just having fun, guys. I mean, it makes a pretty cool texture on there. That might be something to play around with. It was easier to see. That light, pretty bright. All right, we may go with tried and true for right now. With these, as I get better at decorating, we can go through and really play around with these. So, all right. Now, we want a border, I know that. So we need to make a border off of our, I may have to just do that with that one piece that I have. I don't think it gave me. Just a straight border piece to work with. Gave me some textured egg shapes, some crescent moons, some flowers. All right, so we're going to go with tried and true. One of our old ones here. I don't want super wet. is horizontal. So let's start on the straight. Okay. Come back over here. Walk this back. Oh, foot's falling asleep. I mean, you can see a little bit. I need to figure out this camera better. This light is pretty bright. There we go. I'm gonna create some shadowing, which is not conducive for me, but is much better for you guys. Oop. A bit off right there. I'll figure out our bordering stamp here in a second. see that relatively well. Now we need to tie in all these end pieces to where they disappear underneath the bordering stamp. I mean, really, this is no different than drawing a picture or doing whatever. I'm just going to make sure that all the pieces kind of disappear. I'm wondering if that would look too gaudy. That would probably look a little weird. But I could come over here. No, that would look really bad. I got to come into the corners with something that will allow me. Let's take a look on our other piece here. So if we're coming off this corner here, how would this look? That looks bad. That looks bad. Oh my gosh. You know, flowers wouldn't look that bad up here in the corners. It wouldn't. If you get enough transfer, it should cover up. What are we going to do for the other stuff? Let's see here. You know, this wouldn't be bad either. Coming off with something like this. Flip it around. Won't be straight. Coming off something like that. Kind of breaks up that edge. Or, let's see what this looks like. Let me go back to our stamp here that we were using. Do all this stuff with. Get some pieces down here real quick. Okay, so if we came off this edge here with this flat piece, came in at an angle, you just set it below. It's too hard to control. You know, we may have to just make our own. I may have to just go make our own one. That's not bad. It creates those shadows in there. feel like sculpting, which was my first love, then we can, it may not look very good. Oh, where's the square at? That might work. That just might work right there. Okay. We're going to be really careful with how we do this. We may have to put a mark off the border here that we do not go above. Now remember, we got to do what we do to this side. We got to do the exact same thing to the other side, and we still need to punch some holes in the connecting piece. So, I mean, this still might be a practice piece, you know, if it doesn't turn out. I'm not hating that, that's for sure. No, I'm not hating it. It is a little like sculpting, though. I have to go over it a couple times to get the desired effect. May have to use a combination of these two smooth stamp punches to get the desired effect that we want. Go back to that. Where's that big round one at? Where it should go? That's that one. I don't want you. There she is. Okay. So we may have to come in here with this one. It has that rounded edge. Definitely need to get this wet. Kind of just pushing it away from the edge is what it looks like. Well, it's definitely not the prettiest thing that I've done, that's for sure. But I think that's okay. It's basically not doing exactly what I wanted to do. But I think that's my fault, not the tool necessarily. I mean, it does create a nice shadow there, which is what we wanted. Pushes that leather away from the edge and into itself and creates a nice shadow there. I'm pretty sure it doesn't look very good. I may need to make one or go buy some sculpting stuff. I mean, it definitely looks exactly what it is. Like an inexperienced leather guy did it. That's exactly what it looks like. I don't hate it though. Make that clear. I don't hate it. Let's put it that way. It's not beyond the salvation. Just a different skill set that I need to work on. It's getting better though. Looking better. Just like sculpting in blacksmithing, it's going to take some practice to get the desired effect. I mean, that doesn't look bad. Maybe I'm just trying to convince myself it doesn't look bad, which is probably the case. do it, though, the more I'm liking it. You know, the more I'm getting a definite shadow, which is what I want. Okay, so that's pretty cool. All right, so I'm gonna trim some of these edges off here, chamfer them a little bit. That'll help clean that up immensely. This is a tool I've been meaning to make for a while, and I just said, you know what? Instead of me making one, I'm just gonna go buy a kit with one in it. It'd be a hell of a lot easier. Now I need to get all the wood pieces that came with the kit transferred into antler. Wood doesn't have the same effect as, let's say, antler does when it comes to the shine. Now that might look considerably different when it gets dyed. Well, there's a might about it. It will look different when it's dyed and look a lot better, for sure. But the more I do it, the better it's going to be. Maybe we just need to come in here and clean up really deepen these areas in here to throw some contrast. Yeah, I think that'll look a little bit better. You know, I guess I probably could have taken the wood and done the same thing. Kind of ran it around in here like I'm doing now. That's looking really good. Like I said, I'll probably rebuild this freaking same sheath a million times with these tools just to figure stuff out. I'm not sure I want to sell this particular sheath with the knife that it's being patterned for. Yeah, see, the problem with wood stuff tends to break down. I need to get all my antler done. Now we do have this one here, almost like a bird's beak. They'll push and flatten. Kind of softens that shadow a little bit and pushes it more to the outer edge. like I said, I'm not trying to make this a new hobby. This is just something that needs to be done, I think, at least. If you're a bladesmith, is you need, I mean, for me personally, I don't think anybody else needs to do this unless they want to. For me personally, I think a knife should have a carrying case. For one, it tends to sell a little better, in my opinion. Unless you have your clientele trained to know that you don't do that sort of thing. And I do enjoy it. I really do. It is fun. A little bit hard on the fingers sometimes, but still. Now these knobs here are for when you're trying to, you just, those grooves right there for coming in there and softening and rounding those edges, but I don't want to do that right now. So, well, I don't know. I don't know if that made it better. That or that. You know, it's a toss up for sure. I do know that we need to cut down or welt a little bit, but let's take a look at one of our other tools that we bought. I could have built this, but not for what it cost me. Would have spent more money. So this is a sewing horse, sewing pony, and it has a clamp down here that opens up. And so what you do is you have your pieces, right, where you want to sew, and you open it up and you clamp it down so that you can put it all through here if you need to straighten it out, make sure everything's lined up, put it all in there. Now I have this, there's a little awl here for what came with the thing, will be good for when I'm working the holes lined up. So. This is going to be really nice, you know, to just sit here and sew. You know, I don't have to worry about, I got to worry about tracking this piece anymore. I just have to sew. That's one of the things I've been doing lately is when you get a piece, and this is the knife that we're working for a pattern off of, where it's just flopping around everywhere and it's not, you know, secure. This allows it to be secure, and you just, when you need to move it, you move it, you know. Turn it over, same thing, open it up, clamp it down, take your awl, align everything, and you can see too. That's what I like about it too, is I can see both sides really nicely. So pretty nice. I like it. Haven't had a chance to use it yet, but we will get a chance to use it. So we have our sheath started. I don't like I said, we'll see what it looks like when I get some dye and we can dye these things. As of right now, I'm not holding my breath too much. It's just, it's a little weird looking. Probably won't be the final sheath. So, but I need to get in here and play with our pieces. Take lots of this scrap, and we could probably just do that for a little bit right now. is just figure out what is what and what looks good. So I'm just going to take, and we'll just start going off on this. I really don't mind this look either. This is kind of a odd texture. Probably really look good once you got a whole bunch, and maybe you're supposed to overlap it a little more. And kind of turn it as you go. I don't know. I mean, that looks pretty good. It's a very odd texture. Probably wouldn't look bad. We might try it on this next variation of the sheath. I think it looks better not overlapping it. So this is the way I used to do it, and I'll probably still continue doing it, but a lot less holes. I like how big these holes are just based on what type of thread I was using, the artificial sinew waxed nylon. It's really thick. It's really nice. It stays together, it holds well. I like this way because I'm comfortable with this way, right? I like the look that this will potentially give me. Super straight. I mean, you can look at that. Those holes, really nice, tight stitching. There's more than enough meat in between each hole to give you something to really come down on, and really put a nice stitch in there. Plus, it's a uniform. That is a huge thing. I mean, this is uniform too, and this changes quite a bit once you get in here and you do your finishing. You get it all finished up, and you hammer down on those stitches. You don't even tell the big holes in it. But I do like this way, and I will save my punch, right, for a button or something, whatever. But I do like it. It's rather nice, and really just a new way for me to get going. And then this guy right here, this is nice. I mean, I can have this set there the whole time, and when I'm ready to use it, I don't have to move. It's just throw it in there and go, right? One thing that I will add probably to my wall here is a bobbin on the wall right here. I'll probably add a bobbin rack that allows me to just pull what I need off of it, and then reload when I need to reload. So yeah, super cool. Once again, guys and gals, thanks for tuning in and watching me not do leather work very well. But it is something that I am intrigued with, mainly because it is something that I've been asked to do by multiple clients for pieces, and it does sell the piece. I mean, it's a a lot of times having a home for the blade or for the axe or, you know, whatever sells it for the person, because then they don't have to worry about it. Now, my stuff is only, it's for these small sheaths like this. It's 50 bucks, you know, for the sheath. I used to do a Mountain Man style sheath, $25 sheath, all leather, no nylon, no nothing. It was all leather, big old leather shoelace stitching. Um, some people liked it, some people didn't, and then I started going more to this stuff right here. The trying to get a little bit better, putting a little more tooling on it. Hey, Daniel, thank you very much. Welcome, welcome. We're just wrapping everything up. Feel free to rewind it, watch from the beginning. You know, so we'll do more of this stuff. We'll have finishing work, but a lot of the finishing work from now on will be on the Patreon site. So you guys will get a lot of the setup, you know, the holes, the cutting of the pattern, matching everything up, getting everything ready to go, and then boom, the other live portion will be on Patreon for our paying customers. So, but I have to start, you know, building our you know, following on YouTube. So I really appreciate it. To be honest, I'm not really in this for the money. I give away a crap ton of stuff. I do a lot of charity work as well. I'm in it to have fun and help others get into, you know, doing stuff with their hands. So once again, I really appreciate it. As always, stay safe out there, be well, and forge on.